Hello students, how are you? Hope all are fine in this quarantine holidays. So be safe in your home. Okay, ma? Don't go outside unnecessarily. So wear mask. So wash your hands with soap often. Okay, ma? Then have you finished your prayer? Yeah, good. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay students, take your social science book, page number 1. Yeah. So the very first lesson in history, outbreak of World War I and its aftermath. So before entering into the lesson, let me ask one question. Why the war that broke out in the year 1914 and then in the year 1939 were called as World Wars? Before that and all, there are lot of battles, lot of war that took place in our human history. But the war that broke out in the year 1914 and then in the year 1939 were called as World Wars. Why? Yeah, because in these wars only, all the major countries of that time participated directly or indirectly. If you take European countries, they participated directly. European powers like Britain, Germany, France, Italy, Austria-Hungary, etc. So they divided into two armed camps and fought with each other. Okay, so they were divided into two armed camps. If you take in World War I, the camp consists of Central Powers and Allies. So they divided into two armed camps and fought with each other. But if you take Asian and African countries, they were under the control of those European powers. Almost all the Asian and African countries were under the control of these European powers. Okay, so that's why we can say that Asian and African countries participated indirectly. So that's why it was called as World War. Almost all the major countries of that time participated in that war. That's why it was called as World War. Then and its aftermath. So aftermath means consequent events, that is effects that were taken place after some unpleasant event. So the effects that had taken after some unpleasant events. So in this lesson you are going to learn about World War I and its effect. And its aftermath. So what happened in the world after World War I. Let us move into the lesson. To acquaint ourselves with, acquaintance familiar. So what are you going to be familiar with? So first, why the European powers, that is the great powers of Europeans, fought with each other. So why the European powers fought with each other for colonies. So the European powers fought with each other for colonies. You are going to learn about that. Then second one, how Japan emerged as the strongest power in East Asia. The only powerful country in East Asia was Japan. How it emerged as the strongest country. Then third one, effect of colonialism on Africa. So how Africa was colonized by European powers. You will learn detail about that. Then you will learn detail about World War I. So the causes, the course and what happened during the war. Then after that you will learn about the Treaty of Versailles and its provisions. So Treaty of Versailles. So Versailles is a place in France where the peace treaty was signed that brought World War I to an end. You will learn detail about that. Then finally about Russian Revolution and League of Nations. So Russian Revolution, for the first time in the world, communism type of government was established. So how it was established? What are the reasons behind it? So what was the achievement of Russian Revolution? You will learn detail about it. Then finally about League of Nations. So for the first time, world countries come together to form an organization to brought world peace. So you will learn detail about this in this lesson. Introduction. 1914 is a turning point in world history. Why means because in that year only World War I broke out. Okay, but it was not a sudden event. So there are lot of incidents that took place in the 19th century and 18th century that reaches its highest point in the year 1914. So the changes, so the political and the social changes that began in the year 1789, so that reaches its highest point in the year 1914. So that's why it was called as a turning point in world history. Okay, so what was the change that took place in the year 1789? Can you remember? Yeah, French Revolution. So the important political change. The people of France, so through their revolution, dethroned their king Louis XVI and tried to establish a democratic form of government. So for the first time, a democratic form of government was established in France through a revolution. So that was the important political change. Then apart from that, already industrial revolution began in England and it was going very fastly in England. So that changed the lifestyle of the people. Soon it spread to other countries and it also changed the lifestyle of the whole European population. Yeah, so that way it was called as social change. So this political and social change that began in the year 1789, almost in the year 1789, so which continued in the 19th century, decisively shaped the course of 20th century. So there are a lot of improvement in human society in the 19th century. Yeah, so that's why the historians call this as the long 19th century. So since the 19th century saw a lot of changes in human history and a lot of development in human history, it was called as the long 19th century. Then, so this war was called as industrial war. So first industrial war. Okay, because so this war is fought because the European powers need economic resources. Because economic resources for developing their industry. That's why it was called as industrial war. Yeah. Then for the first time it affected the large section of civilian population. Okay, because before that and all, war means just it was fought in the battlefield only. Yeah. But now mostly targeted places where the cities, especially factories only. Yeah, so wherever the factories are present more in a city, that place were targeted. Yeah, and these European powers need resources. So for that they want to capture the country which have more resources. Yeah. Then the political map of the world was redrawn. So new countries emerged. Some of the countries' boundary was altered. Some of the countries are combined to form a new country like that at all. Okay. Then three major empires of the time were defeated. So one is Germany, another one is Austria-Hungary, then finally the Ottomans. So these are the three major empires of the Europe of the time. So they were defeated. Okay. Then finally the biggest result of the war was Russian Revolution and the League of Nations. So you will learn detailing about this and all. Scramble for colonies. So scramble means competition. Competition for achieving better thing. Okay, so scramble for colonies. First, capitalist countries race for markets. So capitalism, communism, socialism. So these were the terms emerged during the period of Industrial Revolution. So first, capitalism means the state or a government gave importance to private owners or for profit means then it was called as capitalism. So capitalism means if the state or a government gave importance to private owners or for profit means then it was called as capitalism. So initially the European powers mostly followed this policy only, capitalism. So the aim of this capitalism was they want to produce more and more goods. So more goods they produce, they earn more profit. So the profit they earn, they were used to build more factories, railways, steamships and other such undertakings. So they produce more goods, they get more profit, they invest the profit in building more industries. So then it was like a continuous chain reaction. So further it was going. So the aim was only profit. So further they do anything. Then revolution in communication and transport. So communication. So telephone, telegraph were invented during that time. Then transportation. So steam engine. So it helped the human beings transport lot. It helped human being transport a lot. So increased the speed of transportation. Okay, so in the latter half of 19th century, so this revolution in transport communication helped the European expansion in Africa and other places. So it helped the easy expansion of European powers in Africa and other places. Then the most important feature was Europe emerged as this dominant power while Asia and Africa were colonized and exploited. While Europe itself, England emerged as the preeminent position and she became the world leader of capitalism. Okay, so the most important striking feature is Europe emerges as the dominant power. Then Europe itself, England emerged as the most important country. Then finally, there were a demand for market and raw materials. So there were growing demand for markets and raw materials. So the capitalist countries involved in race for capturing this market and raw materials. So that only led to World War One. So this was the reason why the World War One broke out. So capitalist countries race for markets. So this map shows the presence of Europe continent. So the red color denotes the location of Europe. So the main event of the war took place in this continent only. So this Europe continent ruled almost all Asian and African country and also Australia. So almost all Asian and African country was ruled by this European continent only. So in this slide you see the location of Europe continent. So the red color indicate the location of Europe continent. Rise of monopoly capitalism. Monopoly means complete control of trade or commodity by a particular group of people or an organization. So after 1870, so that is in the latter half of 19th century, so one thing was seen commonly. So what was that means? So there was an alliance between industry and finance, so which need profit, so which expect profit in markets for goods and capital. So it became the essential character of imperialism. So one thing became evident in latter half of 19th century. So that is, there was an alliance between industry and finance, so which need profit in markets. So industries and finance, so they need, so that is the capitalist, they need profit in markets for goods and capital. So that was the character of imperialism. So what do you mean by imperialism? Do you have any idea? Imperialism means the policy of extending country's power over another country through colonialism or military or any other means. So imperialism means the policy of extending country's power over another country through military power or any other form. So it was called as imperialism. So the important character of imperialism was profit. So they want more profit. So for that they want to capture the market. So they want to capture the market of the other countries. So it became an essential character in latter half of 19th century. Then old ideas of free trade was collapsed. So old ideas of free trade means, initially there was no monopoly concept. So anyone can go to a country and trade with that country. But now what happened means, if an European country capture a particular country means, say for example, so England captured India. So England only fully control the trade activities of India. So no other country, no other European powers or no other Africa or Asian powers were allowed to trade with India. So this was called as monopoly. Our trade activities were fully controlled by British people. So this was called as monopoly. Then there were trusts in USA and cartels in Germany. So these were like organization, so formed by a group of people in order to control a trade activity. In order to control a trade activity, some group of people start a trade organization. So that were called as trust in USA and cartels in Germany. Imperialism and its essential characteristics. See, imperialism means, already I told you, that is the policy of extending country's rule or power over another country. Okay, then capitalism inevitably led to imperialism. So the main aim of capitalism was getting more profit. So capitalism aim was getting more profit. So imperialism means extending the power. So how can you get more profit? By starting more industries. So if you capture a country and take the resources and use the resources means you get more profits. So that's why it was told capitalism led to imperialism. So the Lenin, who was Lenin? He was the person who formed the communism government first time in Russia. So Lenin, so you will learn detailedly about the Russian Revolution in later classes. So Lenin, so he told imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. Then colonies, so they served for two purposes. So one thing, they supply the raw materials, and another thing, they act as the markets for the surplus goods. Then finally imperialism, it became a total system, so total militarization and total war. So imperialism, it was the concept that was followed in that time. So militarization, that is the country, European countries ruled Asia and Africa through their military power. So it became a total system and became a total war. Rivalry of great powers. So in 19th century, almost all the European powers colonized other countries. So by 1880, if you see, Asian countries were colonized. So almost all Asian countries were colonized. The occupation, division and colonization of Africa began in the year 1881 and completed in 1914. So they colonized Africa, they began to colonize Africa in 1881 and completed the process in the year 1914. Then after 1870, England, France, Belgium, Italy, Germany, so joined in this scramble for colonies. So these countries so competed with each other, so for capturing the colonies. So this side show the great powers of Europe of that time. So Britain, France, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy, even Russia. So these are the great powers of Europe of that time. Clashes among great powers. So even though there are great powers, so England, Germany, United States, France, there were clashes between these great powers. So why? So first, England, so she lead in industrial growth. So because industrial revolution began in England only, so she lead in industrial growth. And apart from that, she control a vast empire. So see the map. So the red color indicates the British Empire. So almost 40% of the population of that time were under the control of British Empire. Even though she lead in industrial growth and control vast empire, she was not satisfied because her goods, her markets were in good competition with Germany and United States. So Germany and United States. So though the industrial revolution began later in these countries, they began to produce cheap goods, so cheap manufactured goods, and thus they are capturing England market. So England was not satisfied with the position now she is hold. Okay. Then apart from that, so national rivalry led to frequent clashes in great powers in Asia, Africa and Europe. So there are lot of nationalism feeling, so that arose in Asia and Africa, and they began to clash with the European powers. So that was also an important event of that time. Asia, rise of Japan. So Japan emerged as the powerful country in Asia during the time. How? So Japan was ruled by Meiji dynasty during the World War I. So she imitated Western nations in many respects. So though she looked feudal in nature. So feudalism means, so if a country or state gave importance to land, that is a country's wealth is decided by land, then it was called as feudalism. So though she looked feudalism, she followed Western education and followed Western machinery. She modernized her army and navy and emerged as the advanced industrialized power in East Asia. And also in the imperialistic aggression, also she followed Europe. So like Europe, so Japan also want to capture another country and want to develop its economic resources. Sino-Japanese War of 1894. So Japan forced a war with China in the year 1894 and she defeated China. So to the world surprise, so Japan defeated China in the year 1894 and she captured Liaotang Peninsula, so which is shown in the map, so that box, Liaotang Peninsula, and occupied Port Arthur. So but this was opposed by the great powers of that time, especially France, Germany, Russia opposed Japan movement of capturing Port Arthur with the Liaotang Peninsula. So but later, so Japan what she did means she gave up her claim over Port Arthur. In 1902, Japan made an alliance with England. Okay, then Russia, so what she did means she underestimated the power of Japan and she sent her troops towards Manchuria. So Manchuria is the part of Japan Empire. So in order to capture the place, so Russia sent her troops towards Manchuria. Japan, she demanded England that Russia should withdraw her troops, but Russia didn't listen to the words of Japan and she had a fight with Japan in the year 1904. Okay. But finally, to the world surprise, a little Japan defeated the world biggest land country, Russia, and Japan got back Port Arthur with the Liaotang Peninsula, and thus she proved she was the strongest country in East Asia. Then strong arm diplomacy of Japan. In 1905, Japan took control of Korea's domestic and foreign policy. That is, Japan began to control Korea's internal and external policy. By the year 1910, a prominent Japanese diplomat, a Japanese government person, was assassinated by Korean person. So it gave Japan an opportunity to occupy whole of Korea. So in 1905, Japan just controlled the internal and external affairs of policy of Korea. But after the assassination of Japanese diplomat, Japan occupied whole Korea. Then in the year 1912, so when Manchu dynasty fall in China, Japan demanded the transfer of German rights in Shantung and also the recognition of Japanese hold over Manchuria. So in 1912, so there was a downfall in Manchu dynasty in China. So it provided Japan an opportunity of demanding the transfer of German rights in Shantung Peninsula. So Shantung Peninsula is a part of China which was occupied, which was ruled by Germany. So there the trade rights was possessed with Germany. So Japan demanded that German should transfer the rights to Japan, and also she expected that her control over Manchuria should be recognized. Then finally, so this type of diplomatic policy, so strong arm diplomatic policy arouse hostility, that is arouse enmity of both China and the Europeans with Japan. Colonization and its fallout. By 1880, just over 10% of Africa were under the control of European powers. But if you take 1913, so 1914, almost whole of Africa was colonized and divided by European powers, especially Britain, France, Germany, Italy. So they colonized the whole of Africa. So the only left country of that time was Ethiopia. So Ethiopia defeated the Italian army at the Battle of Adwa. So even though British were defeated at the by the Zulu tribes and also by the Sudanese army, they managed to capture those places later. But at the Battle of Adwa, Italy was defeated very badly. So, but apart from that, almost the whole of Africa were under the control of European powers. So starting from the year 1880 to 1913, so Europeans colonized the whole of Africa. Then Europeans in Asia. So in 1914, so almost all important Asian countries were occupied by European powers. So only China and Russia were left. So China was also partitioned. So sphere of influence policy was established in China. India was occupied by Great Britain. So India, Ceylon, Singapore, Malaysia, so were occupied by British Empire. Philippines occupied by United States of America. So USA so defeated Spain and captured Philippines. So Japan occupied Korea and Formosa. So French controlled Indochina. So that green color. So you can see towards east of India. So India, then next to Burma, then Siam, then and Indochina. So Indochina was occupied by French. Then already I told you, so Japan occupied Korea and Formosa, so that brown color. So you can see west of Japan, Korea. Then you can see a small island, Formosa. So just below Japan, that is east of China, so Formosa. Then below yellow color, so Philippines island, so occupied by USA. So Asia, so that's shared by European powers. Then Europeans in Asia. So if you take Asia, almost Great Britain ruled India, Singapore, Malaysia, Burma, like that. Okay. Then Great Britain made an made an alliance with Russia over the partition of Iran. Then France occupied Indochina. Philippines was occupied by USA. Okay. Then Japan occupied Korea and Formosa, so now called as Taiwan.